Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd start off the year with something to, get me in the mood to do some crazier things this year. Today I created a look using both of the Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes. It's a little big, it's a little bold, it's a little drag. If you want to see how I created this look, then just keep on watching. I'm going to start with the shade Courtney from the Beauty Killer palette on a Morphe M573. I'm going to start my transition kind of in the center here because I do want some of this look to kind of come down and become part of my nose contour. Even the pink I think I'm going to bring down there a little bit today. So I even kind of went a little bit bigger and a little bit darker with my brows than I usually do because again I just wanted this look to be like really bold and really big. I'm going to take that transition out onto my actual brow bone. And this is my first makeup look of 2018. I mean, 1988 was 30 years ago. That's crazy. Poison's Open Up and Say Ah album came out in 1988. That's 30 years ago. That's crazy. Nothing But a Good Time is turning 30 this year. Every Rose Has Its Thorn, which to me, that's my least favorite Poison song. I fucking hate that song. I got that record for my birthday the year that it came out. And I remember I would skip over that song just because it sounded like a country song to me, and it still sounds like a country song. And obviously the 80s were a very memorable decade. I mean, that stuff's so classic. And I feel like there's a couple of years that just kind of really stand out for me. Like 1984 really stands out. I feel like as far as music goes, a lot of stuff came out in 1984. And then I feel like 1988, that was a year when there was like a lot of like debut albums. I think Warrant's first album came out in 88. And a lot of you are probably like, I don't fucking care about Warrant. Actually, that means we're coming up next year. Will be 30 years since the release of my favorite album of all time, Pretty Boy Floyd's Leather Boys with Electric Toys. To me, it just doesn't get any better than that. They were so good. They kind of took like, everything from that era, everything that had led up to it up until that point, and they just kind of like turned it up, made it better. That album start to finish is like, for me, it's like the perfect hair metal album. Like you can't do better than that. I'm going in with Star Power to build up that pink. I'm gonna do this in layers. This one is actually already adhering a lot better than that MAC pigment that I used in my Memorex video. That one just did not want to work at all. If this isn't completely 100% solid, I'm not going to be as worried about it because I'm going to be blending other colors into this anyway. As far as like the music genre, of like the hair metal that I'm so into itself goes, contrary to popular belief, it did not die out when grunge came about. It just kind of went underground, like it's never really been relevant again, but I mean, for me, like, I'm still a huge fan of it. The bands that are still doing it and that are doing it really, really well they're all in Sweden, I feel. Like Crazy Lixx, Reckless Love. Reckless Love was from Finland, but I mean, is that close to Sweden? I feel like it was. Even the singer of Reckless Love was at one time the singer for Crashdiet. But like Crashdiet, like this album's a few years old, but I mean, they are definitely keeping the spirit of the 80s alive. Like there is no denying. They're my age, so it's like, they were young kids in the 80s and, they were into it, and they kind of, again, are keeping that spirit alive. They're keeping the sound, they're keeping the look alive, everything about it. They're like taking their time to release new material, so when a new album does come out, it's not just a bunch of filler, you know what I mean? Look at like the Theater of Pain album. It had, Home Sweet Home on it, which was like this big, huge song for Motley Crue, but like that album sucked. But people remember it like it's like a classic, and it really wasn't. It didn't have very many good songs on it. Look what the Cat dragged in. It had Talk Dirty to Me, it had I Want Action, Cry Tough, it had like a lot of those songs, but it definitely had some really kind of like throwaway moments as well. It did. I honestly can't wait to see like what the new Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette is gonna be like. Allegedly it's coming out in February, but I feel like whenever makeup companies say that, there's a release date for something, you can usually expect for it to be pushed back about 6 months from the original release date. So if it's supposed to be coming out in February, I'm gonna believe that it's gonna come out more like, summer. We'll see. And I know that he has said that he is going to be expanding and doing like concealers and foundations and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool to see too. So now to add some depth and some dimension into this color, and to kind of tone down the pink just a tiny bit, I'm going in with the shade Androgyny, which of course is from the Androgyny palette. And I fucking love this palette. It's so good. And I know that they're never really gonna like catch on and be like, you know, like a phenomenon. They're never gonna be like super popular and get like any radio play or anything like that. But Crashdiet, who has been on hiatus now for the past 4 years, they just released their new song on YouTube on New Year's Eve, and it's pretty fucking spot on to everything that they've done thus far. And for me personally, Simon Cruz, that era of Crashdiet, that will always be my favorite. He had almost that Sebastian Bach kind of quality about his voice, which is funny because a couple of my friends separately who don't even know each other have referred to Crashdiet as Skid Diet. So, which I mean, I totally understand where they get that. The Generation Wild album, it really did sound a lot like the first Skid Row album. It's funny, it's like I waited so long to start doing like tutorials and stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, are there any other like 40-year-old like hair metal dudes that are out there just like painting their face on the internet? I think there should be more of us. You know, I'm almost 40, but I like to think that I don't look like I'm almost 40. Knowing what I know now, I actually wish that I had started getting Botox much earlier. If you're out there and if you're on the fence, I say do it. If you are like between the ages of 25 and 30, you should definitely start doing it now. Once the lines are already there, it's kind of hard to go back and like correct that, you know what I mean? I feel like something like Botox, it helps to prevent the lines from forming, but I don't know how much it actually works to erase them, if it does at all. Because even like my 11 lines, like we've been working on those since March, and they are improved, but they're not gone. And I assumed going in that, you know, that would take care of them, that would make them go away, and it doesn't. If you've been thinking about it, something like that, I mean, it's after 3 months it's gone. So, you know, if you think you want to do it, do it. What's the worst that could happen? You look like a stroke patient and, you know, 3 months later it's gone and you look back to normal. Okay, so I cleaned up and I repowdered because I was getting quite a bit of fallout, which is to be expected. I'm going to use the same brush and I'm going to go in with Vanity. It's not really a charcoal. It's got a little bit of a purple kind of tone to it. Back to the fillers and Botox conversation for like a half a second here. I'm definitely not done. And I definitely can see myself in the future going a little bit more extreme with the whole thing. My jawline and chin, or lack thereof, has always been, you know, kind of an issue for me. If I had the money to do it now, I would definitely do it now to get a lower facelift and like a chin implant, you know what I mean? Because I have like this, I have like a Marilyn Manson chin to neck situation going on, if you know what I mean. I guess I'm glad I don't have like the giant nose to go along with that look. Like, I'm not unhappy with myself and I'm not unhappy with the way that I look, but I definitely am a fan of, and I'm definitely an advocate of, doing a little bit of tweaking along the way. I'm taking Vanity again on a small pencil brush and just kind of blending that into my lower lash line. Now I think I do want to get a little bit of black going on in there, so I'm going to use this MAC Kajal crayon from the Diane Kendall collection from last year. Using like a creamy black crayon like this could be a base for so many different kinds of things. I mean, you could put glitter over top of this and it would really make it pop. You could put a black base down like this and, you know, pop a highlighter over top of it and it would really make that pop. And this black rainbow color is really pretty, but you only really get the effect of it when you're like right up on it, because it's like a really dark black pigmented eyeshadow and it's got like this rainbow, like really tiny rainbow glitter throughout it. But again, that only reads when you're right up close, right on it. But I am going back into that Vanity color just to kind of blur out the edges of that black. So now I'm using the shade Violence on a Morphe M421, and I've dampened this with a setting spray. I am almost finished with my It Cosmetics CC cream. I have worked my way through a tube of that. And I've gone back and just kind of, you know, rediscovered some old favorites. And like today I've got the MAC Studio Fix Fluid on, which I've kind of, you know, I've neglected that one for a while. The other day I used the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Liquid Foundation, which when I first got it and I was using it all the time, I really liked it, but I feel like lately it just doesn't, that one is like the only foundation I have that I kind of have to pay a little bit too much attention to my skin throughout the day. Like it does get really oily, and it seems like everything else that I have and everything else that I use right now doesn't do that. So like the Wet n Wild foundation doesn't do that, the Studio Fix doesn't do that, the CC cream doesn't do that. But that Makeup Forever one, I don't know what it is about that particular foundation that it's really just, I don't know. It's not doing it for me. I did the other day when I was in Sephora, I had in my hand the Too Faced, was it the Chocolate Gold palette, that new one that came out? And that one I was like, I almost bought it. I'm like, don't buy this. You do not need any more fucking eyeshadow. I resisted and I put it down and I did not buy it, and I bought a lip balm instead. So this is Princess from the Beauty Killer palette, and I'm just kind of pressing that into the inner corner there. I really just want the glitter to have a base there, so. So now I'm gonna go into that inner corner with this glitter concoction that I made from MAC, Lit, and Eye Candy. So there's probably like 5 or 6 different colors of pink glitter in there. And since we're doing pink, today I'm going to use the magenta lip pencil from MAC on my waterline. I am going to go into Star Power just a little bit, very lightly on my brush. And I want to keep like the really intense part of the pink like really high up on the cheek. I don't want to bring that down really low. I want to keep that one way back here. And then I'm gonna highlight over top of that using In Bloom by Posh Pepper Beauty. And I'm gonna use a Morphe M504 because that one, it's really precise. And I do wanna take a touch of that just right underneath the eyebrow too. I never really go too crazy with my lips. I definitely never really do pink, but we're going to today. I'm going to use that same magenta lip pencil. For lipstick, I'm going to go in with one of these liquid catsuit lipsticks from Wet n Wild. This is in the shade Pink Really Hard. So I'm going to get some mascara and these Ardell 811 lashes on, and I will be right back with the final look. Okay, so lashes are glued down, and that is the final look. This is as good as my hair's getting today, so I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with that. I'm actually not minding a pink lip either. I usually go more for the nudes, but I'm actually really happy with the way that this turned out, and I think it looks pretty good. So if you like this video and you wanna see more kind of bigger, bolder looks like this, give this video a thumbs up. Hit the subscription button down below and be sure to tell all your friends about it. And I'll see you on the next one.